This is my Kymco People GT 300i, also called a GTI 300, and I'm going to show you how to change the engine oil. This also works on the 200cc model, and it also works for the Downtown 300 and 200cc models. This is what you're going to need to do the job to change the engine oil. You're going to need a ratchet, 17mm socket, 24mm socket, a replacement filter, and this is a high flow HF566, and there's the Kymco part number 1541A LEA7E00. You're going to need a pair of needle nose pliers, some shop towels or paper towels, a funnel, drain pan, and your motor oil. I'm using 5W30 Royal Purple. According to my Kymco service manual, I can use just about any type of motor oil available, depending on the temperature. There's a lot of different viscosities you can use. I'm using 5W30, but as you can see, you can use 20W40, 15W40, 10W40, etc. So choose a viscosity for your temperature in your climate. As you can see, at oil change you'll need 1.3 liters of motor oil. This is the left side of the bike, and on the left side you've got two plugs. The plug on the right is the drain plug. The plug on the left is the oil screen plug. You'll need to remove both of these with a 17mm socket. This is the right hand side of the bike, and on the right hand side you have the plug that holds the oil filter in place. You'll need a 24mm socket to unscrew that plug. A couple of other things you might want to consider: a box or some kind of pad for your knees, because you have to get under there and it's very difficult to get there without getting down on your knees. Another thing you might want to consider is using some latex or nitrile gloves. It is a messy job. Before you unscrew the drain plug, you want to get your oil pan in place, your drain pan in place. So now I'm going to start unscrewing the drain plug. The drain plug comes with a washer, so watch out for that. According to the service manual, you should replace this, but I'm going to go ahead and reuse it. Looks like it's in pretty good condition. One thing I forgot to do, and I forgot to tell you, is that initially before you begin draining the oil, you can heat up the engine slightly, warm it up by running the engine for a couple of minutes, and that facilitates the oil draining. I've forgotten to do that, but keep that in mind. The oil is completely drained now, so I'm going to reinsert and screw back in the oil drain plug. So I have the plug back in now, and I'm going to torque it to spec. Alright, so the drain plug is now back in place and torqued to spec. Now with my drain pan back in place, I'm going to unscrew the oil screen plug, and it's the black one on the left. I'll go ahead and unscrew it and show you the oil screen. Now, I apologize, folks. Someone has torqued the oil screen plug so tight I can't even get it off. In fact, it's starting to strip the the head of the bolt. So basically what you have to do is, once you get it off, there's a cylindrical oil screen in there. You pull it out with needle nose pliers, and you check it for debris, clean it off. You can use a solvent and compressed air, or just clean it off with a rag and then reinsert it. Sorry about that, folks. So now I'm going to prep my filter. According to the service manual, you should fill it with oil, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to unscrew the oil filter plug. 24mm socket. There's going to be a bit of a mess, so make sure you have your oil drain pan in place. There's a spring, so make sure you retain that. Now I'm going to wipe off the excess oil with the shop towel. Wipe it off the oil filter plug. So now I've cleaned the oil filter plug. And now I'm going to install the new filter. First you need to check the O-ring, make sure it's in place. And it is. And then apply a small bead of new fresh engine oil around the O-ring. So now I've applied the bead of oil, fresh motor oil, to the O-ring, so it's ready to replace. And I have my new oil filter prepped. Now I need to remove the old oil filter. Like so. And pop in the new filter. And it presses into place and seats. Now, plug. So now the oil filter plug is torqued back in place using a ratchet and 24mm socket. So now it's time to add the new oil in, and I have Royal Purple Synthetic 5-weight 30, and this is 946 milliliters, so I'm going to round that up to 950. I need 1300 milliliters, so 1.3 liters. So I'm going to add this 1 quart in, and then I'm going to add 350 milliliters from the other bottle, and so that'll be down to halfway between the 700 and 600 mark. 1000 minus 350 is 650. And then I'm going to fire up the engine and test the oil level. The oil fill and the oil dipstick are right next to the oil filter compartment, which is, we just replaced the filter down here. And here's the dipstick, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Start adding new oil. So now I'm going to start it up and run it for about a minute, and then check the oil level. I've taken the dipstick out and I've wiped it down, and now I'm going to check. And it's just a hair below the top level mark, so we're good to go.